and welcome to Galaxy TV's Primetime News. My name is Iribami Salako. We begin with headlines. The National Assembly accuses former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo of peddling falsehood against federal lawmakers in both chambers of the National Assembly. Plus on the news, Nigerian Air Force NAF says airstrike by the air component of Operation Delta Safe destroyed 13 illegal refining sites. From the international scene, Rwandan President Paul Kagame is sworn in for a fourth term after sweeping to victory in elections last month with more than 99% of the votes. Details of those and more coming your way shortly. To stay with us. Many thanks for joining us today's time. Now, details of the news. The 10th Senate has accused former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo of peddling falsehood against federal lawmakers in both chambers of the National Assembly. Senator representing Ekiti South and Chairman Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs Yemi Adaramodu made the declaration in a statement on Sunday. The Senate spokesperson reaction was on the heels of allegation by the former president that the Senate and House of Representative members fixed their salaries independently without recourse to the agency statutorily empowered, the Revenue Mobilization Fiscal Allocation Commission. Senator Adaramodu, who maintained that there was no iota of truth in the allegation, noted that the Senate receives only the salary allocated constitutionally by the Revenue Mobilization Fiscal Allocation Commission. While challenging Obasanjo to substantiate his claim, Senator Adaramodu equally dismissed the allegation of financial patronage from the presidency, as he clarified that no senator has received any monetary patronage from the presidency. According to the Senate spokesperson's statement, the Nigerian Senate is petrified by the tattling story of determining its own salaries and receiving a special fiscal package from the presidency, adding that the sordid and telltale assertion was amplified during a visit of a group of House of Representative members to the former President Olusegun Obasanjo. The Senate received only the salary allocated constitutionally by the Revenue Mobilization Fiscal Allocation Commission and therefore challenged anyone who is privileged, either in qualified or absolute position, to bring forth any contrary fact. It informed the unsuspecting public that no senators received any monetary patronage from the presidency, saying that the mischievously touted consistency project are not for the legislators, but are only suggested and nominated by legislators in accordance with the practice in other democracies worldwide. The Nigerian Air Force NAF says airstrikes by the air component of Operation Delta Safe has destroyed 13 illegal refining sites. This is according to a statement by NAF's Director, Public Relations and Informations, AVM Edward Gapwet, on Sunday in Abuja. Gapwet said that 10 overhead tanks and several gallons of illegally refined products were also destroyed in the operation. He said that the airstrike were part of efforts to curtail activities of oil thieves and economic saboteurs engaged in the illegal and nefarious act of bursting oil pipelines and siphoning crude oil. He said that the air component had increased its rate of patrol, especially within the Niger Delta region, with the aim of locating illegal oil refining sites and destroying them. Gapwet said that the crew also spotted a truck along the riverbank with 4 canoes, loading illegal product into the truck. According to him, after a thorough scan of the area and observing the criminals dispersed in disarray upon sighting the aircraft, the truck as well as the canoes were attacked and destroyed. He said that the crew continued its patrol over the Trans-Niger pipeline from Rumekpe-Umpoko to Bonny. No fewer than 30 persons have been reportedly abducted along the Ukpulugu-Akpo Road, Ukpulugu in Agata local government area of Anambra State, by unidentified assailant. Although the details of the incident remain sketchy, it was gathered that the armed assailant kidnapped 3 men at different locations in the community early Sunday. The kidnap is said to be coming after some gunmen attacked a police checkpoint at the Omate Junction along the Inewi-Oba Road, where a police officer was killed 2 days ago. The recent kidnapping incident was corroborated by a video currently trending on social media showing a assaulted vehicle lying along the Ipoloko Akwa Road, which a voiceover in the video said belongs to one of the kidnapped victims. The community leader, who craved anonymity for fear of being victimized, confirmed the development, saying the gunmen invaded the area at about 7:30 a.m. and whisked the victims away in their various vehicles. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) has intercepted illicit drugs worth millions of naira during a recent nationwide intelligence-led operation. Femi Babafemi, the Director of Media and Advocacy, disclosed this in a statement on Sunday in Abuja. Babafemi said that 2.32 kilograms of cocaine concealed in Ghanaian traditional fabric kente en route to the United Kingdom was intercepted at a courier firm in Lagos on August 5. He said the NDLEA also recovered 10.494 kilograms of same class of drug buried in heavy-duty pivot shaft en route to the U.S. at the same logistic company. The NDLEA official said the 5 other consignments going to the U.S., UK and Canada were also intercepted at a courier firm in Lagos on August 9. It listed the consignment to include 517 grams of cocaine concealed in clothing materials, various quantities of benzodiazepine injection, promethazine injection, and codomadol pills. Babafemi said the 297 pills of tramadol, 225 milligrams going to Canada, was also intercepted. He said that during a recent operation, NDLEA operatives recovered 21 passes of loud, a synthetic strain of cannabis weighing 10 kilograms from the U.S. and meant for delivery in Abuja. Babafemi said that personnel of the agency on August 7 apprehended a member of a cocaine trafficking network at Alafio Relay and Muwodofin area of Lagos. The NDLEA official said that the suspect was nabbed while attempting to move 9 kilograms of cocaine to Onitsha, Anambra. He said that in follow-up operation, 2 persons suspected to be members of an Nnewi-based cocaine syndicate were arrested on August 8. Now to other stories, the Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC in Ogun State has vowed to prosecute a drunk driver who knocked down pedestrians while crossing the road. Akinwumi Fashakin, the FRSC Ogun Sector Commander, told newsmen on Sunday in Ota that such acts of drunk driving would not be tolerated in the state. Fashakin was reacting to an accident in which a drunk driver knocked down 2 pedestrians along the Ekpe area of Lagos State on Saturday. He explained that the hit-and-run driver who recently killed some pedestrians along the Shagamu axis has been tracked and traced using the registration number KJ8635HY. According to him, the driver or owner of the vehicle has been declared wanted by the Nigerian police force. The sector commander said patrol teams have been deployed to conduct random checks on drivers plying the routes in the state. Fashakin also warned motorists against drinking while driving and urged them to refrain from excessive speed that could lead to unnecessary loss of life. You're still on to the news on Galaxy Television. Coming up next. Governor Umaru Bago of Niger State condemns burning of a church by suspected hoodlums in Kontagwa town. Details of that and more coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates on the latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page as Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818 6666 669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. Now to other stories. Governor Hyacinth Thali of Benue State has condemned the assassination of Chris Tefa, a prominent health rights advocate and leader in Nigeria's development sector. Until his assassination, Tefa was an advocate for the vulnerable populations in the fight against HIV/AIDS and the national chairperson of the National Key Population Health and Rights Network, NKPHRN, and Executive Director of Concerned Youth for Development Initiative, CYDI. In a statement by the Chief Press Secretary, Tessa Kula, Governor Alia visited the family of the deceased along with some top government functionaries early on Sunday after church service, where he expressed deep sorrow over the loss and extended his condolences to the family, friends and colleagues of the deceased. The governor commended the prompt actions of the divisional police officer of E-Division, Barrister Daniel Iziala, and his team as the ongoing investigation aims to uncover further details following the arrest of one suspect to identify other culprits. The governor further directed all security agencies in the state to hunt and ensure the perpetrators and anyone connected to the dastardly act is apprehended and brought to book. When members of the House of Representatives came up with the idea of donating 50% of their salary to fight hunger in Nigeria, little did they know that Nigerians from all walks of life received the news with mixed feelings as economic challenges bite harder. In this report, our correspondent Dele Fason takes a look at the donation by the House of Representatives as well as its implication on the present state of the economy. The report.
The pledge by the House of Representatives to donate 50% of their salary to fight hunger at the plenary presided by the Speaker Tajuddin Abbas would have been celebrated across the country if the Assembly had not been in the searchlight for long. Taking into consideration the situation in Kenya, which led to a revolt against their lawmakers, some legal practitioners, public analysts, and rights activists who expressed their views said the decision is coming too late and has no impact on their total package.
Well, that is welcome, but I consider it too little, too small, and too late. I say so because upon the assumption of this administration, there were very high expectations, and the expectations have been dashed. Now, if they say they are parting away with 50% of their salary, what exactly is the quantum of their salary compared to the allowance?
It would have been reasonable if it was well timed. Why would they wait for the Nigerians to react, go and plan protest, and begin to shout that hunger is in the land. It is now your elected deputies, your elected representatives, who are the deputies of the people, who should be the people to carry out the grievances of their constituents to the National Assembly.
I don't really understand if they are cutting down their salary of 800,000 or they are cutting down all the allowances that amounted to 13.5 million naira. So they should make Nigeria to understand, because if you are cutting down your salary of 800,000 and you are collecting 13.5 million naira as allowance and other travel allowance, hard furniture and all that, that is higher than the salary, basic salary they are receiving. That means it's a scam.
On his part, the Delta State Chairman, Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, CDHR, and a legal practitioner said the 50% cut will not solve the problem of hunger in the land.
That 50% deduction of salaries of the National Assembly is not enough to fight hunger in Nigeria. But there are needful things that we need to do. We are not manufacturing anything. Even the president in the past administration, they said we should go and produce our own food. Where a lot of persons were empowered enough to produce right.
They are saying, for instance, that they are cutting their allowances, including their furniture, their dressing allowances, their traveling allowances, and what have you. The number of SAs and PAs, then we would know that they are trying to effect some changes that would make people not replicate the kind of demonstration you have in other parts of the world. But I think it's very laughable. It's comical for them to be talking about salary.
Meanwhile, with a not too good report coming out of the streets amid the hunger protests across the country, the sensing of danger by the lawmakers after the Kenya incident should propel them to enact laws that will benefit the poorest of the poor in Nigeria. From Delta State, Daily Fason reporting for Galaxy News.
Now to the story teased earlier. Governor Maru Bago of Niger State has condemned the burning of Redeemed Christian Church of God by suspected hoodlums in Kotangara town. Bago, in a statement by Special Advisor on Print Media Aisha Wakaso, issued on Sunday in Mina, described the attack on the church as mindless and cowardly. Reports has it that suspected hoodlums in the early hours of Saturday looted items and set ablaze the church located along the Federal College of Education FCE Road in Kotagora. He said the barbaric act of burning and looting of the church was not only an attack on the Christian community, but a direct affront to the peace and unity cherished in the state. The governor said he had directed all the relevant security agencies to conduct an immediate and complete inquiry into the incident. He vowed that the perpetrators of the horrible acts would be caught and duly prosecuted. Bago urged the people of Kotangara to be calm and refrain from reprisal attack, which they should continue to work to preserve the peace and togetherness as one nation. He said his administration would continue to take all the necessary precautions to protect all places of worship in order to prevent the recurrence of such regrettable and reprehensible acts. Bago also called on the residents of the state to be watchful and report any suspicious activity to the authorities to avoid further occurrences of such heinous atrocities. He pledged the state government support to the members of the affected church and the broader Christian community. The encumbrances of paper-based birth registration system has contributed to the inability of some parents to register the birth of their children, as well as government's inability to preserve and protect data for proper planning. In this report, correspondent John Felix underscores how generating valid statistics can aid effective planning in Nigeria. The report.
E-birth registration is the digitized process of birth registration that leverages on technology to register childbirth in a faster, more convenient and easier way. According to a 2023 statistics released by the National Population Commission, the number of children under 5 years of age whose births have been registered with a civil authority by age is 9.15 million out of a targeted number of 10.616 million, representing a progress of 86%. Without birth registration, evidenced by a birth certificate, a child cannot legally be considered underage and thus protected from harmful activities such as child labor, child marriage, and child prosecution. Otumba Abayomi Johnson is the MPC's Honorable Federal Commissioner in Ogun State. He says Nigeria has recorded losses as a result of lack of data.
We've lost a lot. We've lost a lot. It means that all our planning, all our policies has been congested. And that's why you see that areas where they are supposed to provide medical facilities, we just put medical facilities there. We don't even know whether it will address something or not. As, for instance, I've seen area you go to an area you put a general hospital there. They don't need it. It will be moribund. Whereas you see areas where you have supposed to have 3 general hospitals there, they don't have more than 1, or they don't even have at all. I have clear evidences on that, and that shows that those facilities were situated without taking the data into cognizance. So it's either we'll be wasting our resources where we are not supposed to put it, or will not provide adequately for people. That is what we stand to gain as a nation. That means you will not deploy your resources judiciously. And that is what has been happening in Nigeria. So it's either we have lopsided allocation, or some areas that are supposed to get resources did not have at all.
While birth certificate is a mere confirmation of a child's nationality, place of birth, age, the Federal Commissioner says accurate data will put Nigeria on the right track.
Without appropriate data, you cannot even know what we are planning for. Data about population actually form the basis for effective planning. So if you want to plan for any development in any area, you need to know what is the birth, what's the rate of death, then the immigrants, the net migration. So you need to know all this data. And if you don't have this accurate data, there is no way you can properly plan. For example, in Nigeria, and that's why most of our policies are based on outdated data. In Nigeria now, the last population census that we have was in 2006. And these are obsolete data. If we are able to have a correct and accurate data, census data now, and we build on our other vital registrations like birth registration, death registration, we can easily forecast in future what population should look like. And any policies that we are putting on ground will definitely address adequately the population that we have on ground. But if we don't have this data, it's just like we are planning a vacuum, and it may not really be adequate.
The chief of UNICEF Field Office for Southwest says every child deserves to have a legal identity, as it is a fundamental right of every child.
E-birth registration is a formidable opportunity, it's an innovative opportunity, and it's a game changer. It enables us to have a faster, more reliable, more efficient birth registration process. It also does away with the issues of distance, geographical distances that often prevent parents from registering their children. Besides from both birth registration, it's also a great opportunity to have a reliable civil registration system for Nigeria that generates the necessary data to have an effective planning and policy implementation that impacts positively on the life of all children in Nigeria.
No doubt, e-birth registration underscores Nigeria's attempt to break from the limitations of paper birth registration. From Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, John Felix reporting for Galaxy Television News.
You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we continue with the rest of the news. Now, it's time to do a reminder of news that made headlines during the week. Tracking the Week is up next.
Hello and welcome to Tracking the Week. On Monday, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, says the military will not accept anyone pushing or taking any action seemingly or for whatever reason want to push for any change of government in the country. The response was a reply for those calling for military takeover in the country. Recall that some protesters, especially those from the north, had during the tree protests called for the intervention of the military to help resolve the economic challenge of the country. But the Chief of Defense Staff, after a closed-door meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa Abuja, said the military stands for democracy. He said the military will continue to defend democracy. Still on Monday, Nigerians have expressed disappointment in Bola Ahmed Tinubu's address to the nation over the ongoing nationwide protest. A trip round the city centre in Abuja on the 5th day of the end by the governor's protest. Security agencies were seen barricading major link roads around Federal Secretariat, the Villa Gate and National Assembly complex. Those who spoke to our crew criticized the President National broadcast, saying it is not rich enough to address the needs of the citizens. The citizens held that the address did not address the major reasons while the youth called for the protest. Instead, it reeled out the president's few achievements in the last 1 year. On Tuesday, the federal government mulled a revamp of the textile industries in Nigeria to leverage on its job creation potentials. To this end, the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, hosted a number of stakeholders at the Presidential Villa on Tuesday, which included the governors of Lagos and Imo states to draw ideas on how best to go about revamping the moribund industries. Imo Governor Hope Uzodinma said it was germane for those in the helm of affairs to do everything within their power to stimulate the Nigerian economy, hence the buy-in of governors to the project. He said, like the United Nations cotton manufacturing, the entire production chain of cotton is up to 10 sides, with the whole idea is to leverage an opportunity to revamp the industries in Nigeria, which many of them are now moribund, particularly in the cotton and textile sector. Still on Tuesday, the Minister of Creative Economy, Hannatu Musa Musawa, emphasized the importance of including King Jaja of Opobo in Nigeria's historical narrative. She made the statement at the inauguration of the technical committee responsible for implementing the King Jaja of Opobo Cultural and Historical Center in Opobo, Rivers State. The project, according to Musawa, marks a significant milestone in the current administration's effort to promote Nigeria's art and culture. The idea behind the center's establishment was conceived during a visit by His Royal Majesty Douglas Opobo and a delegation to the minister. A member of the House of Representatives from Rivers State, who was part of the delegation, expressed support for the project, stating that it will contribute to the collective effort to immortalize King Jaja of Opobo. On Wednesday, President Bola Tinubu approved the appointment of qualified Nigerians to serve on the board of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund (TED Fund). Chief Ajuri Ngilale, special advisor to the President's Media and Publicity, in a statement, identified the appointees as Alhaji Aminu Masari as chairman, Senator Sani Danladi, member, Sunday Adepoju, member, Nuruddin Adeyemi, member, Esther Onyinyechuku Ukachukwu, member, Turaki Ibrahim, member, Abo Ediok, member. Ngilale said President Tinubu expects the new members of the board of this pivotal institutional vehicle to be dedicated and committed to driving TED Fund's objective of providing the needed support for tertiary education with a view to enhancing the productivity and quality of higher education. Still on Wednesday, the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Education, National Board for Technical Education and stakeholders in the polytechnic sector, has thrown its weight behind the establishment of a National Polytechnic Commission. The commission aims to promote academic standards in the sector and bring polytechnics in Nigeria in line with global counterparts. At a public hearing on the bill to establish the National Polytechnic Commission, the Federal Vocational and Entrepreneurship Institute in Okota, Oshodi, Lagos State, and the Federal Vocational and Skill Acquisition College in Yakaba, Kano State, stakeholders commended the House for initiating the bill, stating that it is long overdue. On Thursday, President Bola Tinubu said his administration will ensure that companies engaged in mineral exploration prioritize the health and safety of Nigerians and the host communities. The president said that this while receiving a presentation titled Harnessing the Mining Industry for Enhanced National Security and Development, Strategic Options for Nigeria by 2035 by Course 32 participants of the National Defense College on Thursday in Abuja. The president also directed security agencies to intensify efforts to crack down on illegal miners across the country. The Course 32 participants were tasked with researching topical national issues, and their findings during their 11-month study focused on the mining industry's potential to contribute to national security and development. Still on Thursday, 7 people were injured with different degrees of burns. Scars and properties yet to be valued were destroyed in a fire caused by a gas explosion at Mobile Filling Station, Awolowo Road, Ikeja, Lagos. Galaxy's Ribami Salako reports that the air was rife with the scent of smoke. The wind transported cries for help from both victims and passerbys, while properties of high value were sizzling and cracking under the melting grip of fire. While everyone was grappling to make sense of what happened, thankfully the Lagos State Fire Service arrived at the scene, lessening the impact of what could have been a more devastating experience. Sadly, 7 victims were covered in burns, but fortunately no death was recorded. One of the ones who made it out unscathed shared her experiences with newsmen. Authorities from various agencies were also present and gave more insight on what happened. On Friday, President Bola Tinubu extended his condolences to the family of Issa Hayatau, former president of the Confederation of African Football, who passed away at the age of 77. Hayatau was also one-time acting president of FIFA, the world's football governing body. Chief Ajurin Gilale, special advisor to the president on media and publicity, in a statement said President Tinubu commiserates with the Cameroonian Football Federation, the people of Cameroon, and the African football community. He said the president describes the passing of the legendary footballer as a huge loss. Still on Friday, former President Olusegun Obasanjo called for moral realignment and positive reorientation among Nigerians to squarely address the current impediments affecting the socio-economic and political development of the country. He made the call in Abeokuta, Ondo State capital, while receiving in audience 6-member co-sponsors on bill on single term and rotation of the Federal House of Representatives. The members of the House of Representatives in Abeokuta, the state capital, to seek former President Olusegun Obasanjo's advice on national issues bordering on ensuring fairness, justice and equity in the polity, both at state and national levels, led by a former chairman of the House of Representatives on downstream petroleum, Honorable Ikenga Ugochinyere, maintained that the nation should move towards adopting a single 6-year term for president. Responding, the former president expressed his worries and challenges on the current socio-economic challenges, saying there must be a change of attitude towards national development. He also questioned the character of the leaders, saying if not addressed, Nigeria will be sitting on the keg of gunpowder. And that's all we have on Tracking the Week.
Now we move to the international desk for more news. This is news from the international scene. Rwandan President Paul Kagame was sworn in on Sunday for a 4th term after sweeping to victory in elections last month with more than 99% of the vote. Several dozen heads of state and other dignitaries from African nations joined the inauguration ceremony at a packed 45,000-seat stadium in Kigali, the nation's capital, where crowds had started gathering in the early morning. Kagame took the oath of office before Chief Justice Faustin Ntiziyayo, pledging to preserve peace and national sovereignty, consolidate national unity. The outcome of the July 15 poll was never in doubt for the iron-fisted Kagame, who has ruled the small African nation since 1994 genocide as de facto leader and then president. He won 99.18% of ballots cast to secure another 5 years in power, according to the National Electoral Commission. Rights activists said the 66-year-old overwhelming victory was a stark reminder of the lack of democracy in Rwanda. Only 2 candidates were authorized to run against him out of 8 applicants, with several prominent Kagame critics barred. The death toll from a landslide at a vast rubbish dump in Uganda's capital, Kampala, has risen to 13, according to police, as rescue personnel continue to dig for survivors. After torrential rain in recent weeks, a chunk of rubbish from the city's early landfill site broke off late on Friday, crushing and burying homes on the edge of the site as residents slept. On Saturday, the Kampala Capital City Authority has put the death toll at 8. At least 14 people have been rescued so far, he said, adding that more could still be trapped, but the number is unknown. Tents have been set up nearby for those displaced by the landslide, the Uganda Red Cross Society said. The landfill site, known as Kitizi, has served as Kampala's sole rubbish dump for decades and has turned into a big hill. Residents have long complained of hazardous waste polluting the environment and posing a danger to residents. Effort by the city authority to procure a new landfill site has dragged on for years. U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump has accused Iran of hacking his campaign. The Republican nominee campaign team issued a statement late on Saturday claiming that the Iranian government stole and distributed sensitive internal documents. The accusation came after Microsoft issued a report detailing foreign attempt to interfere in this year's U.S. election campaign. The campaign team cited past tension between Trump and Iran but did not provide direct evidence. Late on Saturday, Trump posted on his Truth Social app that Microsoft had informed the campaign that Iran had hacked one of its websites. They were only able to get publicly available information. Just ahead of the accusation, said an anonymous source had offered to supply to the U.S. outlet document from inside Trump's operation, including a report about running mate J.D. Vance's potential vulnerabilities. A spokesperson for the National Security Council said in a statement that it takes any report of foreign interference extremely seriously and condemns any entity that attempts to undermine U.S. democratic institutions. Microsoft report stated that foreign malign influence concerning the 2024 U.S. election started off slowly but has steadily picked up pace over the last 6 months, due initially to a Russian operation but more recently from Iranian activity. Iran's permanent mission to the UN in New York said in an email that Iranian government neither possesses nor harbor any intent or motive to interfere in the United States presidential election. Still on the international scene, Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar wants a ceasefire deal. At least that's the message Egyptian and Qatari mediators have conveyed to Israeli officials in recent days ahead of a critical summit later this week. An Israeli source familiar with the matter said, whether the Israeli Prime Minister once sworn remains shrouded in uncertainty. Netanyahu's allies have told journalists and other government officials that the Israeli Prime Minister is ready to make a deal, regardless of the impact on his governing coalition, two Israeli sources said. But the Israeli security establishment remains considerably more skeptical of Netanyahu's willingness to strike a deal, given fierce opposition from far-right ministers in his coalition. What is clear is that Netanyahu is going to face a mountain of pressure this week from the United States to agree to a ceasefire and hostage release deal. U.S. officials have made clear to their Israeli counterpart they believe the time to reach a ceasefire deal is now in order to avoid a wider regional war, the Israeli source said. The Hostage and Mason Families Forum, a powerful voice in Israel, has also called on Israel and Hamas to finalize a hostage and ceasefire deal. A deal is the only path to bring all hostages home. Time is running out. The hostages have no more to spare. A deal must be signed now, the forum said in a statement on Thursday. At the same time, Netanyahu's coalition partners have made it clear they do not want Israel to strike a deal with Hamas. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has confirmed Kyiv's troops are fighting inside Russia, days into the surprise Russia cross-border incursion into Russia's Kursk region has become a major embarrassment for the Kremlin. Ukraine is proving that it really knows how to restore justice and guarantees exactly the kind of pressure that is needed, pressure on the aggressor, Zelensky said in a nightly address to the nation on Saturday, thanking every unit of Ukraine's armed forces for making it possible to push the war out into the aggressor's territory. The statement marked the first time Zelensky officially acknowledged the incursion, which took by surprise both Russia and Ukraine's allies. Ukrainian officials have for days remained tight-lipped about the operation, even as photographs, videos and first-hand reports of Ukrainian soldiers inside Russia started to emerge. Moscow has been scrambling to contain the attack. Russian authorities imposed a sweeping counter-terrorist operation in Kursk and 2 other border regions, and tens of thousands of people have been evacuated from Kursk. Now on its 6th day, the attack on Kursk is a significant development in the more than 2-year-old conflict. Ukraine has repeatedly targeted the border region of Belgorod with airstrikes, and pro-Ukrainian sabotage groups have conducted limited cross-border attacks. But the Kursk operation marked the first time that regular Ukrainian and special operation units have entered Russian territory. Lastly, on the international scene, all 62 bodies have been recovered from the site of a deadly plane crash outside Sao Paulo on Friday afternoon, according to the state government. The bodies of 34 men and 28 women were recovered, according to the Sao Paulo government, who said that only 2, the pilot and co-pilot, have been identified so far. The passenger plane crashed outside Sao Paulo on Friday afternoon, killing everyone on board after dropping 17,000 feet in just 1 minute. But it is not yet clear why. The flight had left Cascavel in the Brazilian state of Paraná and was en route to Guarulhos in Sao Paulo state. Dramatic footage circulating on social media showed the plane's fall and its destroyed fuselage in flames on the ground. Sao Paulo Fire Brigade spokesperson Macon Cristo told newsmen that officials are working row by row of the aircraft to retrieve and identify the bodies, which are in conditions that make them difficult to identify. In order to help identify bodies, families have been asked to share medical documentation of the victims, such as radiology, medical or dental exams, said a statement released by the government of the state of Sao Paulo. Details are emerging about who was on board. Among those killed are a 3-year-old girl and her father, according to the Public Prosecutor's Office of Santa Catarina, where the man worked. Regional airline Pass, who operated the flight, said that all passengers had Brazilian documents, while 4 victims are dual nationality, 3 Venezuelans and 1 Portuguese. 3 Venezuelans were women, her mother, and a 4-year-old son who was traveling with their pet dog. And that's it from the international scene. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and stalk us on our Instagram page as Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. And that's it for now. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Siribami Salako. Do have a great week ahead.